Welcome to the final leaks and rumors on the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Pro, where I'll be covering everything that's already known, from the design changes to the display, camera, all the way down to price and release date. So let's start off with the design. With the iPhone 16 and the 16 Plus, the main design change is going to be the camera orientation, which is changing from a diagonal to a vertical orientation. Kinda similar to the iPhone 12, only with a flash outside the camera island, which is also smaller now. The reason for this change being Apple wanting to give the standard models the ability to shoot spatial video for the Apple Vision Pro as well, for which you do need the main camera and the ultra-wide to be right next to each other, as they'll be shooting in stereo. Aside from this, the 16 and the 16 Plus are also getting the action button that the iPhone 15 Pros introduced, replacing the mute switch and allowing us to assign a custom action to it, like launching the flashlight, recognizing music, or launching a specific app or Siri shortcut. Based on our dummy units, this action button does appear to be slightly larger than on the iPhone 15 Pros, which I do hope to be the case. Additionally, we are also getting another button on the lower right-hand side specifically for launching the camera, which, based on the leaks, will be called the capture button. This will be a capacitive button that will allow you to hold to focus, press to take the shot, and then also slide your finger up and down in order to zoom in and out. This capture button is also set to allow you to configure it with third-party camera apps too. This for me is definitely the feature that I'm looking forward to the most on the iPhone 16s. Now, the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus are also getting a couple of new colors, as you can see right here. The black is now getting darker, the blue is now getting significantly more vibrant, and it will now look like an actual blue. The same for the green, which will now be more of a teal. The pink is getting darker, and the yellow is being replaced by silver, something that was entirely missing on the iPhone 15s. So, what about the Pro models? Well, they're also getting some new colors, such as silver, a darker black, a grayer version of natural titanium, and also a brand new gold, which, based on the latest leaks, it will be more of a cream/light brown instead. I didn't like it much when the original dummy units got leaked, but seeing it here, I do actually like it. It's very subtle and to me seems more elegant than the gold that we used to have with the 14 Pros, which was more of a yellow. The Pro models are also getting the new capture button, by the way, but the biggest change design-wise will be their larger sizes. The 16 Pro is going from a 6.1-inch display to a 6.3, while the 16 Pro Max is going from a 6.7 to a 6.9. And because of this, the width, the height, and the weight of both phones is increasing too. So how do they actually feel in the hand? Well, from my experience with the case models, the 16 Pro at least actually feels pretty great. It still feels perfectly usable, even in one hand if you stretch your hand a bit. The 16 Pro Max, however, does feel less comfortable than the 15 Pro Max, mostly due to its increase in width. In fact, the 16 Pro Max is now more similar to the 14 Pro Max in width. However, since its frame is more rounded than the 14 Pro Max, it does feel more comfortable, although not quite as comfortable as the 15 Pro Max. Also, the internal MagSafe magnets ring may become smaller, as per this leaked photo right here, which means that the case manufacturers will require thinner and smaller magnets in their cases, hence reducing their manufacturing costs. Now, when it comes to the displays, aside from the larger sizes, another change is when it comes to the bezels, which are getting thinner, from 1.71mm to 1.2 on the 16 Pro, and from 1.55 to 1.15 on the 16 Pro Max. These are some significant reductions in bezel sizes, which were already very thin on the 15 Pros. Here's a leaked image of how the bezels would be on the 16 Pro Max, and if we put it side by side against the 15 Pro Max, the difference is indeed quite noticeable. Apple is also said to use micro-lens technology on all iPhone 16 displays for extra brightness and reduced power consumption. Higher brightness is indeed something that I would love to see, as we haven't really had any improvements on the Pro models ever since the 14 Pros. Which brings us to the camera. The iPhone 16 and 16 Plus are set to feature an upgraded ultra-wide, with a wider f2.2 aperture from f2.4 that should improve its low-light performance slightly. And this lens will also now support macro photography for the very first time on a non-Pro iPhone. The Pro models are also set to get an upgraded ultra-wide with 48 megapixels in resolution and pixel binning, with a pixel size of 0.7 microns unbinned or 1.4 binned. This will match the performance of the current ultra-wide in the binned 12 megapixel mode. However, when you have a lot of light, you'll be able to switch to the unbinned 48 megapixels and then get a ton of detail that way. Additionally, we'll also be able to shoot Pro RAW photos with the Ultra right now at a 48 megapixel resolution as opposed to just the main. The only other camera hardware change on the Pro models is set to be the telephoto on the 16 Pro, which will get bumped to the same 5x module as we've now got on the 15 Pro Max and the 16 Pro Max, compared to the current 3x. There was that larger 1-inch main sensor expected on the 16 Pro Max, however, according to an exclusive report by Apple Insider recently, detailing all these camera changes, the main sensor will actually remain the same for the third year in a row. And yeah, I'm really not too happy about this. However, we are at least getting some additional shooting modes, a new image format called JPEG XL, and the new 3K 120 FPS video mode on the Pro models. Currently, we can only do 4K 60 or 1080p to 40. But that's about it when it comes to the camera. The biggest change really is that capture button. Now, before we continue, I want to take a moment to talk about something important to me, my team, and hopefully you guys as well. Last year, we launched our app WallpaperZ with the idea of supporting talented creators from all around the world. Thanks to you guys, we've built a global community where these artists can share their work and grow. Your ongoing support means a lot. It expands opportunities for creators and also creates a thriving creative community. So I want to thank you guys for being part of this meaningful journey. You can find links to our app wallpapers in the description and enjoy our ever-growing collection of incredibly high-quality 8K art. And if you're a creator, no matter where you're from, don't hesitate to reach out through our app to join our creator community. So yeah, thanks for listening. Now back to the iPhone 16. Okay, let's talk about the performance. Based on leaked iOS 18 code, all 4 models will have the exact same chip, the A18. With the iPhone 15s, Apple had the A17 Pro inside the 15 Pros and the older A16 inside the normal 15s, with the A17 Pro being considerably more powerful. This will no longer be the case, as all 4 models will now have the same chip, which means that the standard models will now get some extras, like more RAM, from 6GB to 8, support for ray tracing, and a significantly more powerful GPU, allowing us to play AAA mobile games like Assassin's Creed Mirage, Resident Evil Village, and more, just like we could with the iPhone 15 Pros. I do still see Apple calling the A18 chip and the Pro models A18 Pro, and the one inside the base model just A18, with the A18 being a bin version with some GPU or even CPU cores disabled. Additionally, the thermal system inside all models is set to be improved in order to combat overheating, something that was an issue with the 15s at launch. We are set to get a larger graphite sheet that should help keep temperatures in check when gaming, and hopefully even let us use that 2000 nit maximum outdoor brightness for longer than just 4 to 5 minutes. Which brings me to some extra iPhone 16 features. The first being Apple Intelligence on the standard iPhone 16 models, something that we just don't have right now on the standard iPhone 15s due to them not having 8GB of RAM. The second being Wi-Fi 7, which is expected to only be on the Pro models, and it will support up to 40 gigabits per second speeds as opposed to just 5.4 of Wi-Fi 6E. Of course, no one even has an internet connection that's that fast. However, if you've got a Wi-Fi 7 enabled router, you'll be able to transfer and stream files from inside your network considerably faster than with Wi-Fi 6E. And the last being the new Snapdragon X75 5G modem. Essentially, this will be exclusive to the Pro models and it will support 5G Advanced for faster 5G performance and with 20% less power consumption and also 25% less internal space taken. When it comes to the battery, the iPhone 16 is getting a 6% larger battery. The 16 Plus is getting a 9% smaller battery, likely to push more people towards the Pro Max, while the 16 Pro is getting a 2.5% larger battery, and the 16 Pro Max is getting a 5% larger battery. Additionally, all models are set to come with stacked batteries to enable these larger capacities. The Pro models are also rumored to feature faster 40-watt charging as opposed to their current 27 watts, which should allow for a possible 50% charge in just about 20 minutes from the current 30 minutes, as well as faster 20-watt MagSafe charging up from the current 15. And while this is a good improvement in terms of charging speeds, it still won't match other phones like the OnePlus 12, which can charge to 100% in just 25 minutes. As for the price, the 16 is still expected to start from $800, the 16 Plus from $900, while the Pro and the Pro Max will start from $1,000 and $1,200 respectively, all for the same 128 storage configuration. The only difference would be the Pro Max, which will start from 256, just like the 15 Pro Max. Which brings me to the release date. Since the event is on Monday the 9th, based on what Apple has done in the passed, the pre-orders should start on Friday the 13th, with the orders shipping on the 20th. This is everything that we know so far about the iPhone 16s. Of course, there will likely be some surprises and some extra features announced at the event. You subscribe for a lot of coverage on the iPhone 16s starting from next week. And don't forget to check out our app Wallpapers for some awesome designs all in 8K for the iPhone 16 launch. I'm Daniel, ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.